What's happening? What's happening? What's happening, people? What's up? How's it going? Hold on one second. Let me put a note. Put a note right here. Push this button before you start. Anyway, what's happening, people? How we doing? How we doing? How we doing? First off, I want to say thank you to all the people who tune in on Sundays with us with Dexter Taylor. It's awesome that you guys come and hang out. Give him an opportunity to say what he has to say and things of that sort. For those who don't know who Dexter Taylor is in prison right now in upstate New York. Like I said, I call him my political prisoner because, you know, the way that the very system that a lot of people believe in, that system put him behind bars. And right now he's doing a 10-year stint because he put together a firearm. And, you know, the state of New York decided to use him as a piece of whatever they want. And so the man is sitting behind bars right now. So thank you very much for coming in and hang out with us on Sundays. You know, we talk about the current events, whatever's going on, whatever's happening. It's about the only time I really ever talk about anything outside of Minnesota. We got enough here in Minnesota that we don't really need to go outside of it to actually talk about things. But hey, we're here right now. Oh, look at that. And I just found what I was looking for. We're here right now, and let's talk about it. Let's look into it. So I tweeted out a situation that we found out today that a 11-year-old kid who was on house arrest, he had a monitor around his ankle, apparently jumped out of his window, got into a car with another friend of his that was stolen. Well, the police ended up catching him. But we don't know about those things, or you guys don't know about those things until they hit. Yeah. Until they hit like the wire or something like that. And a lot of times you guys don't even know those type things happen. It's just like the kid that was housed in a Bloomington hotel. And when the supervisor or whoever was keeping him overnight, it's just like that kid who took the keys, took the car, ended up in North Minneapolis somewhere, and the state of Minnesota actually lost the kid. I say all of that to say this here. We have a lot of troubled kids, and we have no place to put them. We have a lot of troubled kids that are not getting help. So what the state of Minnesota likes to do, especially in the black community, is they like to rely on these so-called nonprofit organizations to take care and to tap down the crime, when we all know in the community that doesn't happen. The people who are running around here now talking about, look at what we did, can lie if they want to. We know it's the same group of kids. And sometimes the very people who are calling themselves tapping down the crime, it's their kids. The same people talking about it's their kids. But the bottom line comes down to it is we know who these kids are. The problem is they don't want to find places for these kids. See, it's easy to make money off of black pain. It is. And black people make good money off of black pain. You got the ones who are making the money. Here's the funny part. So you got the ones who are making the money, who got the gig going. And then you got the ones who want to be the ones who are making the money out here running off at the mouth and saying this and saying that. And they just clash. Look into what's going on right now. Look into what's going on right now. Millions of dollars. Don't you know we could have facilities for these kids? Think about this. With all the money that they have crammed into North Minneapolis, St. Paul, South Minneapolis, with all that money they have given these organizations, you know how many facilities we could have with people working to really help these kids? You take an 11-year-old boy on house arrest. That means he's been in trouble not once, not twice, but a few times. This isn't his first rodeo. And you put a bracelet on his leg. And then you say, we're going to send him back to the very problem that he's been wallowing in forever. So what is that doing for the kid? What is that doing for the community? Nothing. Just because you lock them in the house, that don't mean they ain't getting in trouble. Just because you put a bracelet on it, that don't mean they ain't getting in trouble. They ain't doing something. They ain't talking to other kids that are in the same position that they're in, plotting, doing this, doing that. The home is where the problem is, and you send them back to the home. Oh, you put a bracelet on him because you don't know what to do with him. No, we know what to do with them. You just don't want to do that. You don't want to really invest in it. No, you don't. And it's mainly it's both. But I'm going to say right now, it's mainly the Democrats. Because Republicans don't have a clue. I like I said, when it comes to having compassion, you don't think of Republicans. Just like we got a knuckleheaded House of Representative member right now running around with his mouth talking about reparations and who should get reparations and all this here. I'll get into that later. That joke. Yeah, everybody's getting some tonight. Trust me. Everybody's getting some tonight. And if somebody says I'm wrong, like I said, let me know. You can be on here with me. I have no problem talking to people. I have no problem when people want to debate. Well, not debate, because I can't debate. I lose. But if you want to have that conversation, let's have that conversation. The problem is nobody ever want to have that conversation, right? But we're in a situation in the community where instead of us actually doing the work, we would rather go off and fight over dollars. We would rather listen to the Democratic Party and stay on that boat that's going nowhere in circles in the community, which is true. We would rather listen to the Democrats tell us how racist the Republicans are than to actually do what is truly right. What is truly right is what I've been asking for 3 years. 3 years, anybody that would listen to me, I've been asking for a place for these kids. These kids need help, right? They need help. That's the bottom line. It's not it's every black kid in the community. There's black kids that are smart, that are smart enough to get good grades, to get themselves out of the community. But then there's the ones that just not gonna make it. And those are the ones who feel that, you know what, if I sell drugs, if I buy guns, those are the ones that we have to help. Or they're going to end up dead in the streets, or they're going to end up killing somebody. And I'm not saying anything that people don't already know. Y'all know exactly what I'm saying is right. I know I'm going to get some black people on here. Rev, you're talking about, well, I can talk about the very community that I help. See, that's the difference between me and a Candace Owens, or me and a Jason Whitlock, or me or C.J. Pearson. All them so-called black Republicans that talk about the black community. They don't ever do anything. They don't put no time into it. You know, we got two black men here. Love to talk about the black community, but they ain't done a damn thing for the black community. And both of them are in positions where they can use their mouths to talk about things and how to help, but you won't never see them do it. You don't ever hear anything from them unless they're on some bogus radio show. But I only talk about what I see. Now, if people wasn't calling me, asking me for help, and I'm out trying to get help, do this and do that, then I wouldn't say a word. I'll go on with my life. But as long as my phone is ringing, I get every right to say whatever I want to say. And anytime I say something, you cannot tell me I'm wrong. I'm right. We have a problem in the community, and nobody really wants to put their foot down and get things done. They just built a pool over in North Minneapolis, right off Plymouth. You can go see it for yourself. Olympic-size pool. Black people ain't swimming. They didn't build that pool for that community over there, because the community already have an outdoor pool when they go splashing around. But that $5 million building they put over there has nothing to do with black folks. Right in the black community. That's where they put that. Well, they put it on the outskirts. So people that's living in those condos, they can cruise right. They can come down Lendale to Plymouth right there and never go into the black community. But one more block, you're in the black community. That's what they do. And then you got the senator there in that district ain't done nothing but pushed money through that community. Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did. That's why Champion won't deal with me. Because I call him out. I've called him out on many, many occasions. And people get mad at me. Oh, but you dogging Bobby Champion. Do you know what he do for? Yeah, I do know what he does for the community. I ain't stupid. I didn't wake up yesterday. Y'all just finding out. That's why anytime I'm in the same vicinity, this man, he runs literally when I say that. Then his little yap. That's who people should look into. Look into her too. Look into her too. Look how much money she's making. We need to cut this out. But when you got one of the largest churches in North Minneapolis getting $3-4 million, it ain't gonna happen. When the Democrats have bought church after black church after black church after black, that's not going to happen. When the Democrats have bought these here gatekeepers, it's not going to happen. The community will stay as is. Because as long as they got the right ones, the so-called leaders they pick, I've been asked many times, Rev, with all that you try to do and things that you try to do for the community and people, why aren't you one of? Because I keep telling y'all, I ain't they right type Negro. See, in order to be a Negro for the Democrats, you gotta do things different. You gotta bow down to them. You can't carry a weapon. You gotta be against that. You got to walk around and lie and say your church will marry Steve and Steve. And you got to put up with that. Not here. Never going to happen. So because it's never going to happen, that's why I keep telling y'all. You don't hear me on Black. They got a radio play called KMOJ Radio. Y'all listen to them. Listen to the programming that they put on that radio. There's a program on there. I know the brother and I know the sister. Every time I see the brother, when you going to have me on your show? He go, what do you want to talk about? I said, let's talk about the gun violence. But let's talk about it my way. I ain't never got a call to be on that show. You don't hear me on Black radio because they know I ain't coming on there and playing victim. See, you gotta be a victim. You gotta act like the victim. You gotta talk that victimhood. That's why you ain't never heard Georgia Fort call me and say, hey Rev, I like to do a show. Because she know I ain't gonna be victim. I'm gonna ask her, why ain't you reporting on some of these here kids that's running around here with this trouble, causing this trouble? Why ain't you reporting on that? You're a black woman in the news. You should be reporting on that. You should report on this money that's out here that these Democrats got these black people jumping through hoops on. Why ain't you reporting on that, Georgia? We got problems. But they see me as the problem because I'm saying let's clean it up. Let's make a difference. Let's do things different than what we are doing. Because I'm running around saying I need a totem town open right now. We need a place for these kids. You can't keep giving. You give these kids back to the very parents or parent that has told you over and over again that I can't handle this kid. But you give it back to the parent. The very kid that then caused all the problems, the very kid that's wreaking havoc, you give it back to the very parent who said, I cannot handle this kid. Because it's easier for you to make money off of that kid. And then when you called on it, then I'm the one that's in the wrong. Well, I said it before and I said it again. It's time to stop making money off of dead kids and black blood. But that 11-year-old that jumped out the window, got in the car, got into a stolen car, and took off. And they found him. Only thing they're going to do is take that kid right back to mom. Right back to the problem. And that kid is not going to get any help. At all. At all. And the only thing we have to do is stop pumping money into a dead-end road. Only thing we have to do is stop. You get some gang member knowing he shouldn't have a gun, and you drop the gun charges. That's what we do. Oh, we can't clean up. We can't clean up the communities. Yeah, you can. Oh, we can clean it up. You give me a couple of acres. Let me build a facility. And those who are old enough, I'm put them somewhere for a little bit too. You can't keep doing the same thing over and over and over again and getting away with it. You just can't do that. I don't know when that started or whose mindset it was that this is the way we were going to roll, but we cannot keep doing that. And I understand the fact that there was a time there that everybody saw every little black boy, black man as a predator. Hillary Clinton. So that gave people the opportunity to say whatever they've done, let's just lock them up and throw away the key. It's not what I'm talking about. I believe these kids and these boys needs rehab. They've just got to be reprogrammed out of the situation that they're in. Again, when you have a community that's been run into the ground, that has nothing to viable, don't have businesses around or nothing, what do you expect? Things have to change. But again, it's easy to let things go this way. The money is better that way. You got people making $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 off the pain of other people. That's downright pathetic. So at some point in time, we've got to get to the point to where we understand what's going on. The sad part about it is it's going to be a while before we can do that. And until that happens, we're going to have more 11-year-old boys, and they're going to get younger. That's going to be sitting at home with a monitor around their leg. So something has to give. It really do. And the sad part about it is, as long as the Democrats dangle this money in front of certain black folks, the situation is only going to get worse. This is one of the reasons why black folks vote for the Democratic Party. Democrats come in and say that we're gonna do something different in your community. We're gonna do this. We're gonna help that. And don't do nothing. Tim Walz ain't done nothing for the black community. That's why it pisses me off when I go to my black clergy members and ask them for their vote, and they tell me in a way that if it's going to be Republican, they would rather deal with Tim Walz, who hasn't done anything. Well, not that the Republicans has ever done anything in the black community at all, but In a way I understand, in some ways I don't understand. When you got boneheaded House of Representatives making a mockery out of someone talking about reparations and things of that sort, then you understand why the Republicans can't win anywhere near Hennepin County. They can't. Matter of fact, the Republicans can't come into Hennepin County. Matter of fact, the Republicans can't come into the black community because of knuckleheads like him. He's the reason why the Republicans are looked upon so in a way where they're disgusting. That's how the Republicans are looked upon, to the point where they're disgusting. And you have no one to blame for that but the loudmouth lawmakers, whether it's on the whether it's on the House of Representatives side or the Senator side. That you have them to blame for that, because they're ghoulish when it comes to dealing with the black community. So we get it from both sides. We do. To the point that when someone has an answer, want to make a difference, the only way I can make a difference if you give me a seat, put me in a seat to start things off, to move things. And I would think people look at that and go, okay, let's try it this way, because the way we've been doing it before has not worked, and it won't work. It won't work. But as long as we can keep this up, as long as this goes along, as long as people keep staying in the mindset that they're in right now, it's like I said, it's not going to get any better. You cannot make me believe that it's going to get better. You cannot make me believe that there's going to be a change, because it's just not going to happen, people. We've been doing this here. 2019, I sat there in front of the House in committee and testified. And I can tell you right now, it's only gotten worse. And it's only going to get worse. When I looked, the Republicans on this side and Democrats is on this side, and I looked them dead in their face and I told them. But nobody listened. And that's what the problem is. And I don't get it. I really don't get it. When you go in and you can give them the answers, but they don't care. It's not about you, people. And no matter how many times I can tell you and I can show you, people just do not want to come out of this cult-like mindset to say, let's make a difference. These people, they're talking about raising your taxes, taking more money out of your pocket for these certain types of programs. And because you've got one side who was down at the Capitol this weekend screaming and yelling because of what they were doing in Washington. You got that side who's acting a fool, who don't want to really listen, who don't want to come down to earth for 5 seconds and hear what somebody got to say, right? And then you got the other side saying, well, let's push these here policies and let's make this here happen. Right now, I am $13,000 out of my 401k. I'm down $13,000. I know people sit there and go, well, it's going to come back and it's going to do this and it's going to do that. Well, hell, I'm thinking if I'm going to lose money, let me lose the money. Not have some knucklehead up there deciding to just throw shit at the wall, and if it sticks, it sticks. If it don't, it don't. Because I ain't getting that money back. It'll take a while. I lost it like that, but then it's going to take, what, a year or two to get it back? Come on. But here in Minnesota, we got to make a change. Things got to be different. I mean, like I said, the other day I got into it with somebody about, men going into women's bathrooms. And a lot of people look at that and they go, oh, it's not a big deal. Who cares? So what? Who cares? A lot of people have that in their mindset. They really do. But then I sit there and I said, how much farther are we going to go with this? There's a reason why I didn't vote for Obama the second term, because Obama opened these doors. Where we're at today when it comes to this stuff, Obama opened the doors for this. The minute he said I have evolved, I was done with him. See you, dude. Bye. And here we are today with them talking about let's let men go into women's bathrooms. Let's let men go into women's prisons. We all pretty much saw it coming. How much farther are we supposed? Are we just supposed to say, "Boo"? This is what, as far as a woman go, this is a one. If you say you're a woman, I'm supposed to say that. Nope, the buck's got to stop somewhere. Someone has to stop the train, people. Because if not, we are in trouble. Listen to what I'm saying. If not, we are in trouble. They're at the point now where once they start mixing certain things with black people, that's when I know they're desperate. And they're desperate right now. So everything's a civil rights. Oh, but you remember civil rights when the black people was going to black people, that's totally different. You say, well, why is that different, Rev? I can't change this. That's the difference. Now, if you want to go cut off Mr. Peter, so you can change that. I can't change this. This is what I am every single day. That's the difference between we are getting ourselves to a point to where we're just willing to just let anything go. 11-year-old boy out here causing havoc to the point to where they put a bracelet on his leg. They don't take care of the problem. They put him back into the problem. And we're supposed to be okay with that. And as long as they're dumping money to these nonprofits in the black community, we are okay with that. That's what the Democrats think. If we give them money, then we can pat ourselves on the back and say, look at what we're doing. And everything is fine now. We'll just close our eyes, stick our head in the sand. But I want your vote. As long as we're doing this for you, I want your vote. That's what's been said. We've got to change something. And until we get it changed, the community is going to be the community. The same kids that are in trouble right now will probably be the same kids that we will bury. And I'm not ready to go back to 96, 97, 98, 99 levels of burying black bodies. Just not willing to do it. It's funny how we forget that. We forget the murder Atlas years. I'm just not ready to do that. I mean, there wasn't a day that I did not drive out of my driveway and drive down, because when we left my house, I was at 2729 North 3rd Street. It was right there. I mean, I can look out my window and look over the wall to see the freeway. I was right behind the park there, Fairview Park. The people would get on top of the hill and shoot over, be on top of the hill, is about the tallest hill in Minneapolis, and then shoot into Fridley. For some reason, I have no clue, but middle of the night, all of a sudden you hear gunshots, and we all go downstairs. But I ain't forgot about that, and I don't ever want that to happen. I don't ever want to see that ever again. But to make a difference, we've got to get people in office that's going to say, first off, black community, I'm not giving you a dime. What we're going to do is we're going to do things totally different. We're going to take the criminals off the streets, and we're going to help some of these single moms. That's what we're going to do. Your baby, more than likely, is going to be put away for a little bit, and he's going to go to rehab, and he's going to learn, and he's going to get his diploma, and he's going to leave there knowing some type of trade. We're not going to give these kids back to a broken system. That's what we're doing. It needs to stop. And what really is going to piss everybody off is the money train is over. It's over. There won't be no NAACP money. There won't be no violent interrupters money. There won't be no love up, guns down money. There'll be none of that money. None of that money. That's what's really going to piss a lot of people off. The black churches ain't getting no money. All of that stuff will be cut off. Oh, we're going to fix the community, but it's going to take the right person to fix the community. It's going to take someone with a vision to understand what needs to be done. I understand what needs to be done. Period, point blank. But anyway, hey, check this out, though. So, let's get into it, man. Let's seriously get into it, because there's some people who really want to box, who really want to fight, who want to. All right. With the situation that happened with the little black boy and the little white boy, where the black boy stabbed anyway, that is what it is, right? At the end of the day, that's what it is. But let's rip it up. But what's been funny to me is these so-called right-wing influencers and some of the things that they have said about the situation. Boy, it has been a day. I've just been sitting back reading some of the crap. Let me clue you in on some of the stuff. So this one lady here, this Taylor Silverman, TM Silver something, said point blank here, said, it's funny how people never want to pay for anything. Black people never want to pay for anything until someone makes a GoFundMe page for a murderer. Yeah, that's what she said. For a murderer. If we don't ever want to pay. I had to buy a snowblower this year. I was trying not to have to buy one, but I didn't have a choice. So I bought a snowblower. Brand new one too. Pretty nice one. I don't use it. My grandson's husband now. My grandson's husband, no, not my brother, not my son. Anyway, that's a long story. Anyway, he comes over and uses the new snowblower. But I just think it's funny how these influencers, and then I have this guy. His name Rams. Hold on, let me see if y'all can see this guy. I'll let y'all read it. This dude right here. That guy. So I read this. Blacks will always celebrate and support another black who murders a white without exception. I was like, wow, how easy y'all forget. Yeah, no. I'm using a wide brush tonight. No, don't hit me with, oh, Rev, you got a white. My brush is the widest brush you ever saw is about to be hit tonight. Oh, I'm saying I'm pulling none of this back. None of it. Because it's been relentless, some of the things. There's another knucklehead that's out there right now. And she's a lawyer, and she's going after GoFundMe and this new app where they got money, where you can send money. Well, she's been going after them to stop them from collecting money to put on this kid's books to try to help his legal fund. White woman. Go figure, right? But it's really, really getting ridiculous. And then you have your guys' hero. Yeah, he is. Matt Walsh. I don't know if you've been reading the crap that joke been putting out there. Oh, he's using a wide brush. So why can't I? He's using a wide brush, and y'all love him too. Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. I trust me when I say I go on some of y'all. If you follow me, more than likely I have been on your page. I have seen the people that you follow. Yes, I do. I've got there's weeks that I have to go into dialysis and sit there for about 4 hours. I got 4 hours. That's what I do. 3 days a week. So I'll pick somebody and I'll go through your page and I'll see who you're following. And I go, you're that type of person. So this Rams Paul, blacks will always celebrate and support any black. Are you really? Have y'all seriously forgot? Y'all, white people, made George Zimmerman the whitest Mexican inside of the United. Yes, you did. Yes, you. Let me remember. Oh, wait now. Let me remind you. Y'all like to forget. See, this is why history is important. Y'all hate history because y'all know I can bring it up. I love this stuff. I love when people talk crap, especially when it comes to talking about black people. Because I can remind you guys of some things. George Zimmerman went around the United States in white spaces, and he signed Skittles. Did he not? George Zimmerman went to racetracks. Hello? And signed Skittles. George Zimmerman went to white gun clubs and he signed Skittles. Y'all celebrated a Mexican. Y'all made him as white as snow. Y'all celebrated him. Yeah, you did, for killing a black kid. So when he says here, blacks will always celebrate and support another black who y'all have celebrated cops for killing black people. Yeah, you did. It happened right here in Minnesota. The dude got afraid of cops. This cop decided, I'm going to jump in on the other side. The dude took off. His partner was on the other side, and he was shooting the gun while his partner. Yeah, that happened. And then the cop got off, and y'all went down and celebrated it. Yeah, you did. Right here in these Minnesotas. When the Clark kid, the police swear up and down he was trying to grab his gun. That's what he said. Try to grab a gun. When the Clark kid, when they shot that Clark boy at down there in North Minneapolis, y'all took up for the cop when they shot that kid. That happened right here. If you want to see some filth, go watch 16 Shots. Go watch that show. Go watch. It's called 16 Shots. Look it up. Y'all celebrated those cops that shot that kid 16 times, and then they covered it up. Yeah, the cop finally went to jail, but after a year. But go look at it. So when we talk about celebrating, y'all watch Rodney King get beat. Who has the history here when it comes to celebrating? Terrence Crutcher shot in the back by a cop. Who has the history? Garner getting choked out over loose leaf cigarettes. Who has the history of celebrating when black folks die? Hello? I mean, if I'm wrong, tell me I'm wrong. But if you're going to put stuff out like this, come on, people. We're better. That's what I keep trying to say. We're better than this. You know what? We're better. We are really honestly better than this here. We're better than this. It's funny. And then you got people that says this here. This dude. Michelle Tafoya, I got her name right. So Michelle Tafoya put out a tweet. Had nothing to do with race. And this dude, Josh, says that reverse the races and there would be riots in the street. So I hold on, Josh. If you're gonna put out a tweet like that, then let's talk about why there will be race. Why would there be riots in the streets if the race was reversed? Why would that happen? Should I remind you of Ahmaud Arbery? What? No, seriously. What happened with Ahmaud Arbery? They didn't even arrest the only reason they got arrested was because people was in the street. See, here's the difference, right? If there was justice done, we wouldn't be in the street. Only time, think about it. Only time we're in the streets is when justice isn't done. No justice, no peace. So if the racist, Josh, was reversed, let's think about it for a second, and the little white kid did not go to jail for stabbing the black kid, more than likely, that would be a reason to go where? In the streets. See, Josh, the difference between the two is when black people do something, or we go to jail right away. So there's no reason for white people to be in the streets. Josh, that's it. If it were reversed, Josh, and we would have to go in the streets because they didn't arrest the little white kid, I get your point. Like Ahmaud Arbery. Gun was tracked down, gunned down, and the people who shot and killed him were not arrested. They wasn't even going to bring charges on them. That happened in full time, real time. Correct? So, Josh, yes, if the racist was reversed, but we only go in the streets, Josh, is when there is no justice. And sad to say, there's usually is no justice. That's why black people are in the street, because we're asking again for justice. What we've been asking for years. The very system that y'all complaining about, hold on. The very system you're complaining about with Derek Chauvin, that system is a system that has railroaded many of black men. That system. See, if the system was fair, maybe Derek wouldn't be in jail. But y'all saw for yourself now. You saw it yourself. You say the system isn't fair. But that's the same system that has put many black men in jail. So which one is it? I'm just making a point. I mean, if I'm wrong, say I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong. I'm cool with it. But that system that Derek Chauvin went to jail under is the same system they use to put black men in jail, and they ain't even guilty. Every time you turn around, there's a black man getting out of jail. They found it. He was railroaded. That's the same system. That's the system that, Josh, if it was reversed and the little white boy did not go to jail for stabbing a black man, we would go and say that system is not working for us. So we would have to go into the streets, Josh. We have to. We don't get it as easy. They arrested this little black boy. That little black boy is arrested. He is in jail right now. We don't know what's going to happen, but he's in jail right now. There's another one out there right now that a white man shot a black man, but all of a sudden he's incompetent to go to stand trial. When Elijah Cummings, look up Elijah Cummings, Elijah, the kid that was in Colorado, that they shot the ketamine in his neck, too much ketamine, and they killed him. Look how long it took for him to get justice. Look him up. I'm telling you, everything I'm telling you, you can look up. How long did it take? What did they have to do for him to get justice, Josh? They had to go in the streets, brother. So if it was reversed, I can keep going. You know I can. We shouldn't have to do this, people. No. We shouldn't have. It shouldn't be a this for that, a tick and a take. We shouldn't be doing this. But look at where we are. Look at where we are. It's pathetic. Then you got people going, well, where is the rioters? And I keep telling white people, oh, yeah, where are you? Why are you not? Where's White Lives Matter? I don't never see White Lives Matter show up during these times. And they say, oh, we don't go to the streets because justice is usually swift in your case. You don't need to go to the streets. You don't need to go out there and do things because justice is usually swift. Yes, it is. Breonna Taylor's killer is still walking the streets. I ain't hear no white people going, you know what? They broke in and they killed that young lady. Tamir Rice, yeah, he had a little gun. But are you going to sit here and really tell me that a rolling car, a police shooting a kid while the car is still rolling, they didn't even say drop it. He didn't say put it. He just gunned this kid down. And y'all ain't said a word about that. That was okay. Why was that okay? Because just like what's going on right now with these influencers, how they're painting black men as criminals, as heathens, and everything else they're saying about black men. They're not breaking it down and saying this and that and that and this. It's just like I was telling somebody today. If they keep this up, so if I go to Elk River, and I've been there, Zimmerman. Let's say Zimmerman. And for people who don't know, if you listening to me, you've never been to Minnesota. Zimmerman is a white area, and it's way out there, right? Almost like a sundown town. I've had to go out to Zimmerman to help some white couples. So to help some, I've taken food to white people out in Zimmerman. Now, let's say I go out to Zimmerman in a couple of weeks and somebody get it in their head now. There's a black man out here. What is black man doing here? He shouldn't be blah, 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 blah. Oh, looking at it. Because they're listening to these influences. And don't say it wouldn't happen. Y'all know that's a lie. Let me remind you of how an influencer put it in this dude's head to go to New York on, remember the pizza thing? So don't ever tell me that people can't be influenced to do stupid things from what they hear on the internet. So I go out to Zimmerman and I'm out there with a care package trying to help white people, and now I've got people around my car, that's what I'm thinking now. Because of the crap that they're saying about black men and black people. And y'all know I'm right on this. You know I'm right. But I don't see enough white people going, you know what? Well, Jim, wait a minute, my dude Jim. Jim stood up for me yesterday because I had a guy calling me racist. This Josh dude, right? Josh called me racist after he got pissed because I kept showing him exactly where he was wrong. So he went there with me. Oh, you're racist, Rev. You're a racist, Rev. I'm racist because I'm showing you why if the situation was reversed. Oh, now I'm racist. But I'm out in Zimmerman helping white families eat, or dropping off shoes or coats or whatever I'm out there doing. Now I got a mob around my car going, get out of here, Negro. All because of these ignorant people, these ignorant white people that y'all got on the internet feeding you just asinine things about black people. I've never talked about shooting, killing, or want to hurt somebody. I've never had a reason to be ill towards somebody, ever. Even when people call, like I told you, the first time I ever was called a nigger is when I was in elementary school. And I've heard worse. I've watched my stepdad, who is white as a ghost. I've watched him cry because of the things that white people called him because he was with a black family. So when people talk about racism, trust me, I know exactly what it looks like. And that's why people sit there and go, "Oh, Rel, no." I like to break it down. Let's have these conversations. The problem is people don't like having these conversations. Like I told you, I know how to shut my. If I don't want anyone saying anything, commenting on my page at all, I'll just put like I did today when I put out what this Ram says. Put out something out there racist, or something out there that has something to do with race, or somebody talking about race. I shut my whole page down. Get no cut. Y'all ain't commenting on that. But you read it and you know it's there and you say nothing. See, I need some white people who are going to be like those kids that got on those buses and went down to Alabama, that's not afraid to be cut off from your friends. Because I ain't afraid to be cut off from my friends. That's what I'm talking about. That's how we come together. When you tell one of your friends the crap that he's saying, like a Matt Walsh, when I see white people going, Matt, that's wrong, that's when I know we're headed somewhere. But as long as Matt Walsh can put stuff out that he put out there and y'all okay it, or when you don't say nothing, no, I need white people just like those kids that got on those buses and went down to Alabama, that went down south from the north, and they went down south. The ones that got off the bus because they knew they was going to get beat, but they'll get beat first instead of the black. I need a couple of them. I need a couple of them to hang out with me. Because with these influencers saying the things that they say online, and y'all know I'm right, I'm in trouble. I go into a white town or white area, and y'all don't realize what I'm there for. And as long as y'all let your hero influencers say the things that they say, that puts me in trouble. And I ain't never done nothing to. I ain't a white person can sit there and tell you that I've ever done anything to them. I've said anything wrong. It ain't never happened. Difference between me and a lot of other people is I believe what the Bible says. Am I my brother keeper? My brother don't only look like me, but they don't look like me. But a lot of them don't look like me. That's what my Bible says. The problem is we've gotten too far away from the Bible to understand how God wants us to live. The Bible tells us the story. Y'all know the story. There's a priest and a Levite walking on the side of the road. And they saw this dude that just got beat up, just got robbed. And they made sure they stayed away from him. But the Good Samaritan didn't care what color he was. The Good Samaritan could care less where he was from. The Good Samaritan, that is just a few people that I would like to hang out with. Give me those people. I don't want the Levite. I don't want the priest. I want the ones that says, I don't care what you look like, who you are, but I'm going to treat you as God's child. If we can get some people, enough people like that, not only would that change the way things are going in America now. Because right now things are bad. I mean, people are literally calling for they was literally calling for a race war. Why? Calling for a race war. What in the world do I have? I need to want to hurt somebody who don't look like me. Make me understand that. Why would I want to hurt somebody that don't look like me? For what? But you got your white influencers out there saying that. That's exactly what they've been saying. So what I'm telling you is when they're on your Matt Walshes and all, even Jason, that bonehead Jason Whitlock, that low down dirty something, that one. Even the stuff Jason Whitlock is saying. And he knows it. That's the thing about what Jason is doing. Jason knows what he's doing. Matt Walsh knows what he's doing, but he don't care. He don't care. But Jason Whitlock, he knows what he's doing is wrong. He knows what he's doing is putting black men in a box. And anytime you put a black man in a box, you're putting his life in danger. And y'all know that as well because it's been done. Oh, right here in the state of Minnesota, up there in Duluth, they hung 3 black men because a white woman cried wolf. That happened. Look it up. Look it up. Like I say, anything I say to you, you can look it up. Right here in Minnesota, they hung 3 black men up in Minnesota. Why? Because a white woman cried wolf. That's a true story, people. So we don't, look, we don't need no race war. We don't need to try to start one. We don't need to put in the people's head that every time you see a black man, you need to lock the door or get out of the elevator or walk the other way. Now, hold on. Let me back up here. If you're in certain neighborhoods, if you're in certain neighborhoods, even I get on the other side of they don't that's just the thing. It don't scare me. I have no fear of some of these little tyrants that we got running around here. I just hope and pray that we find a way together to make a difference in these kids' life. Hillary Clinton once called us predators. And we knew who she was talking about when she said that. The sad part about that whole situation is, in a way, Hillary was right. But then you look at it and you start saying, well, what's the economic makeup of these kids that Hillary called predators? Think about it for a second. I mean, we can go with this whole thing, black fathers, and I know everybody love to do that. They love to bring up the nuclear family. Yeah, I can do that. I can go to this voice. That's called code switching. And there's times that I have to use this voice, just to let you know. No, I code switch. No, I do. I have to make people feel comfortable, and that's what I'm talking about. When black people walk in a room, a black person walk in the room, y'all know it as well as I do. So let's not sit here and act like be all shocked. Did you hear what Rev said? Yeah, listen to what I'm saying. I have to do the Kamala Harris or Jasmine Crockett. Those two, y'all know y'all hate y'all some black women. especially when it comes to Jasmine. I like Jasmine because she pisses y'all off. I'm gonna be totally honest with you. That woman gets under y'all skin like no tomorrow. But she hood and she's ghetto and all of this here type of stuff. She don't talk like. Y'all should hear me when I go home. When I go down to Memphis, I don't talk like this. No, I don't talk like that. I get in with my people, and we get down. That's when I have my country accent. When I go home to Memphis, my country accent comes out. But, then I come back up here to the north, and I got to speak like I'm speaking with people that's from the north. But the only thing I'm saying here tonight before I get off here, which I'm 13 minutes over with, I'm sorry. Like I said, look, you're going to hang around me. I'm just looking for a couple white people that want to be like those kids that got on that bus, those white kids that got on that bus and went down south. And tell people like the Matt Walshes of the world, the Nick Fuentes of the world, and even the Jason Whitlocks of the world, that they can kiss your white. But black people, a lot of black people that are not like what they're painting with their wide brush, right? Because I don't, it's funny how you can come on my page and say, well, Rev, you're using a wide brush about white people, but you don't ever go to their page and say the same thing. I don't never see nobody. I be checking. I check. But right now, what I'm saying is we don't need them. Seriously, we don't need. We got too much here in Minnesota to worry about than to try to find a way to talk about let's have a race war. Let's have a race war. Think about that for a second. Let's have a race war. And then you had the ones that I'm going to do this real quick and then I'm done. Then you had the ones which was cracking me up. The guys that was on there saying, "Oh, we need to separate." This is the reason what the guy said. I even posted it. The guy said, well, this is the reason why I moved away from Minneapolis and I live 4 hours away because I want to get away from separate from those people. Well, let me remind you that your ancestors, yeah, they did. Your ancestors decided that, when black people were in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and they was doing just fine on their own, y'all decided to go tear it up, did you not? When we were in Redwood, Florida, doing fine on our own, separating, y'all decided to go tear it up. Hello? In New York, before Central Park was there was a black area there doing fine. Y'all decided to tear it up. Right here in St. Paul, Rondo, when you kicked all those black people out of there, thriving black community, to run a freeway through it. Y'all decide to tear it up. So when we sit here and talk about separation, go talk to your ancestors. No, because you tore up everything black folks tried to do. Wilmington, North Carolina. Right? You tore it up. Louisiana. You tore it up. Every time black people try to get on their own, do their own things, to create their own, y'all went in there and tore it up. That's history. Go look it up. Don't get mad at the messenger. Go look it up. So when you sit there in these days talking about, we need to separate from the blacks. You did that before. It called white flight. When the government was giving away just entry-free loans, basically gave you a house. Matter of fact, that was almost like reparations to move to the suburbs. Am I correct? And what's one of the ways that wealth has been accumulated in the white community? Home ownership. Oh, that was something black people didn't have because they had covenants. You couldn't live in certain parts they kept black people out. So black people was not able to get that wealth that everybody, hello, look it up. Matter of fact, look up Jim Crow North. Type it in, go to YouTube, type it in there, Jim Crow North. That explains it. That explains everything for you. So when we start talking about black people, we start talking about this and talking about that, this is why history is important. Because only thing I have to do is go back and look at the history. And then you will understand why. Look at how the media have painted black men throughout history. That's why I sit there and say the Nick Fuentes and the Matt Walshes of the world who sit there and say, oh, black men are violent. And here's what's fun. Here's the funny part about this thing. The very FBI that white people swear up and down now that they don't trust, they tend to trust it when they're throwing out the statistics saying that black men and black people did this. Oh, there now the FBI is right. That very FBI that just a few minutes ago you said was not to be trusted. Now you trust that FBI. Because the FBI said, well, black men are per capita. I love that new thing they throw in there now. Well, per capita. Y'all know I'm right. You know I'm right. You may be pissed right now. I know some of you are probably pissed. But like I said, any day of the week, you want to come on here, I'll sit back. I'll give you a whole hour. You can say whatever you want. I will not cut you off. I will not debate you because, again, I can't debate. I always lose. We can have a conversation. Just hit me up. Hey, Rev, you said some things that I don't think is right. I want to talk to you about it. Let's have that conversation. Let's have that conversation. I don't never get anybody that wants to have that conversation. Because half the stuff that I say, I make sure you can look it up. I make sure you can research it. I know how Twitter works. But I don't want no race war with you at all. And here's the thing that cracks me up. Just because black people are not showing their firearms, just because black people, believe you me when I say this, there's a lot of firearms in the black community. A lot of black people are afraid to say anything. A lot of black people are afraid to show their firearms because they think, they believe what the Democrats tell them, that black people have no right to have firearms. And if you have a firearm, the police are going to shoot you. No, I'm seriously, serious. That's what a lot of black people believe. So they keep their firearm hidden. But there's firearms in the black community. So when you sit there and say, let's start a race war, how about not? How about we find a way to do the things that God asks us to do? How about we come together and we take care of the poor people like God told us to? It's in the Bible. You call yourself a Christian and you don't want to do the things that Christians are supposed to do. And nowhere in the Bible does it tell me to have a race war with white people. It doesn't say that. It doesn't say it in the Bible. Not the book that I read. Like I said, the book that I read, it says to take care of the poor, take care of the oppressed, take care of the downtrodden. That's what it says. And it didn't say what color. Hold on. Let's make sure we understand that. The Bible didn't say what color you have to be in order to be taken care of by somebody else. Didn't say that. Correct? Now, let's say if we start living by that. I'm just saying. Let's say if we start living by that. Just think how awesome this world would be. If we start living by what God has put in front of us. Just think how awesome. I wouldn't have to worry about nothing. I wouldn't have to worry about some low-life influencer trying to tell you that people who look like me want to hurt you, that we're violent. I wouldn't have to worry about that. If we all took care of each other. Know how cool that would be? That would be really cool. So if I can get a couple white people who says to themselves, I want to live like God told me to live. I want to be that Christian that's in the book that I've got on my bio, on my pic, on my profile. I want to be that Christian. I can get some of them Christians, some true, real Christians, not the Republican Christians, because they skip over Shabbat. They skip over a large part of the Bible. Unlike Democrats who don't ever pick up the Bible. The Democrats believe whatever they want. They throw anything out. Y'all know it as well as I do. Come on. God didn't destroy Sodom and Gomorrah for just because. He destroyed it also because people wasn't doing the things. Read what it says. He destroyed it also because people wasn't doing what he asked them to do. They were not taking care of the poor. Read your book. I know everybody always talking about, well, he destroyed it because it was homosexuals. He destroyed it because people were not doing the things that God told them to do. Just like we're doing right now. Just like we're doing right now. Whether it is homosexuality, whether it is murder, whether it is rape, whether it is people stealing. He destroyed it because people were not doing what he told us to do. Just like what we're doing right now. We're not doing what God told us to do because, God, like I said, God ain't never told us to have a race war. He never told us to try to have one. Ever. Not in the book. Not the book that I've read. I have never seen that. But I'm going to tell you what he did tell us to do. He told us to come together as a people. That's in there. He told us to take care of the people who cannot take care of themselves. That's in there. Again, when he said, am I my brother's keeper? He didn't say what color your brother had to be. That's in there. So if we're Christians, then why can't we live as Christians? Anyway, fam, I appreciate y'all. I thank you very much. 25 minutes. Sorry. Totally my fault. I wait a minute. I think I got on kind of late too, because I was running around here looking for something and I couldn't find it because I was going to show you something. So I'm going to say 20 minutes. Give me the 5 minutes. I appreciate y'all. And again, like I said before, thank you very much for coming and hanging out with us. Even with, like I said, with Dexter and things like that. That's so cool of everybody who's coming and hanging out. And if you want to know a little bit more, like I said, I got one of his hats on. I got a red one also like this. I stand with Dexter Taylor. Basically, like I said, Dexter is in prison right now. And on Sundays, we have the opportunity. He calls. Carl and I get on the phone with him. And we talk about some everything. We cut it up on Sundays, and we try to do that every Sunday. Also to give him peace of mind. I mean, because that's all he has to do all day is sit behind bars for a whole week, and by the time that week rolls around, we got to get him back into thinking that people care about him, people love him, and we do. No ifs, ands, or buts about that. But if you want to know anything else about his struggles and the things that goes on with him, that will be on Sundays. So we hang out with Dexter on Sundays, and you can learn a little bit more about his case, a little bit more of why the justice system believed that they need to make an example out of a black man who only thing that he done was put together a firearm. He never fired the firearm. He wasn't trying to sell the firearm. He wasn't doing nothing like that. But New York State of New York found something that they can get him on, and that's what they do. A man who's never been in trouble, don't have, I found out last night he had parking tickets. So other than that, never been to jail, don't have a record or anything of that sort. So if you want to support him, we'll be here every Sunday with Dexter. I will see you guys probably on Wednesday if everything. Nope, I won't see you on Wednesday because I've got to go and talk to some people that I met this week. Oh yeah, I forgot to tell you about the so the rally that I was at on not that rally. I went to Libertarian. They had the Libertarian Party had a rally at the Funny. Had a rally the same time at the Capitol, the same time that the Trump rally was going on, and my God, you should have seen all the people that was out there on the Capitol lawn. It was unbelievable. The amount of people who showed up. I was like, we got that many white people in the state of Minnesota. Anyway, but I went to a different rally, and the rally was to fight for the Constitution, to make sure that when our guardsmen, our vets, and whomever else is in the service, we want to make sure that when they are called to war or they're flown overseas to do that, through the Constitution, it's done right. Through the Constitution. Because right now the Constitution is being thrown out the door. And they are able to pick whomever the power is at the time. They're able to pick our guys up and just throw them out. I met so many veterans and things this weekend who are saying, hey, they can just say, I declare, I want to send these guys out to fight. They don't call it a war. They just say to fight. So therefore, boom, they can throw them in the pits of hell somewhere. And through the Constitution, they're just overlooking the Constitution to make it right. I'm going to be posting some things on that so you guys can take a look at that. But I was proud to be out there with them this weekend with that rally that was going on with everything. I was supposed to speak, but the guy who's doing the MC, his name is TC. The guy who was doing MC, I got to teach this dude how to MC a dang on rally. I mean, he's taking TC was making it about himself to the point where by the time the rally was halfway over, half the people hadn't even spoke yet because he was into him. I mean, I was like, dude, I was supposed to speak. I didn't get the opportunity to speak, but Brad, my running mate, who's running for governor, Brad had the opportunity to speak. He was like, "Aren't you going to speak?" And I'm like, "No, I'm good. I don't run for nobody's mic. If you tell me I can speak and then you forget me, I'm good. Because we had to be down in St. Paul because we had our grand opening. Just to tell everybody, for those who don't know, I'm part of a organization, and what we do is we have young entrepreneurs. We teach kids how to take a business, and those are those. When I post to tell you guys to save the date, like we have it in Rosedale Mall and things of that sort, this is what this is for. But we teach young entrepreneurs, number one. Number two, we have a chess club where we teach the kids to play chess, and then they go around the state of Minnesota to play chess. That's something they do, and that's the same group that we bought that the cart for the hot dogs and the Italian sausages. If y'all don't remember, we bought a cart. The cart was beat up. We brought in people to help the kids refab that cart, and now we're able to take that cart out to fairs, to anything that's going on, and the kids are able to work in there, and all that money goes back to getting computers and things of that sort. But we had a grand opening on Saturday, and the So we're out of the basement now, and we're into a space right there in St. Paul on University there, 509. It's 509 University. If you ever get a chance to go by there, please, ma'am and sir, stop in, see what's going on there, see the good things that we're doing with the kids over there and the whole 9 yards. So a lot of times when I ask you for money and I say, well, can you help us out? Because we got 15 kids. Well, you guys did that. 15 kids to take to the chess club, or we got kids that we're taking here or taking there. But we had a grand opening on Saturday, which was awesome. So we're looking forward to, and then we have the teachers that come in to teach math. We got the math teachers and the English teachers. And when I say English, I'm meaning our kids who can speak, even though they can speak English. Some of the kids have problems pronouncing words. I'm not talking about, someone who's from another country and we're teaching them English. That's not what I'm saying. So I just want to make sure we're all on the same page. These are American-born kids who have problems with pronouncing words, or, their schooling and things of that sort. So that's what I'm talking about. And all these people that come in to help us are strictly volunteers. They don't get not one dime. Everybody who comes in to teach us business, the new guy that we have a video teaching the kids how to do video and give interviews, media. All those guys from this media group that's coming in and helping us right now, they're all volunteers, teaching the kids how to set up, prep, how to do lighting, how to do video, how to edit the video, the whole nine. It's awesome. Trust me, people. And for those who have helped and done all that, and you know who you are, thank you again. I so appreciate you guys sending money in, and that money bought the paint, it bought desk, it bought cabinets, couple of new computers we got, so kids are not fighting over the computers when they're trying to edit their tapes and things of that sort. So again, thank you guys very much for what you have done. Without you, we wouldn't have been able to get this space and to get the furniture and everything that we needed that's in this space to keep these kids going. So again, anytime we can get these kids off the street, that saves a life. So I appreciate you guys very, very much for all that you have done. And I hope you keep riding with us, and thank you so much for everything that you have done. But with that, fam, I'm going to say this like I always say. We're going to end the night like we always end the night, understanding and realizing that the God we serve is a mighty God, an on-time God, and a good God. He's a God that if you give yourself to him, that you don't have to worry about too much of anything that's going to happen in your life. Just turn it over to God. And if we all can start living up under what God wants us to live, oh my God, what a better life we have. I know how my life has turned around. Like I always tell people, this wasn't me probably about 15, 20 years ago. If you'd have met me 15, 20 years ago, you wouldn't have liked me at all because I wasn't a likable person. But because I decided that I was going to turn every part of me, my mind, body, spirit, and soul, over to God, because I was just plumb tired of being the person that I was. God has turned me around and gave me something to do and put me in places that I probably would have never been in before. And I thank him so much for that. I thank him for everything that he did for me every single day. There isn't a day that I do not thank him for giving me this opportunity. Yeah, I go through times just like everybody else would go through times. But the one thing that I realize, that even though I'm in that valley and that valley is ugly sometime and the storms will come, I know there's a lily in the valley. And I realize that just like Meshach and Abednego, and we're in that fire, God will bring us out of that fire, that you won't even smell like smoke, even though you sat in the furnace for I don't know how long. I realize that. I realize we can be like Daniel, thrown into the lion's den. And that lion never takes a bite out of you because we got a good God on our side. That's the God that I love to be around. That God that said, I'll never leave you and I'll never forsake you. That's a promise. He didn't just say that just to say it. And just for that alone, we should all have a smile on our face. And y'all know what we do with those smiles. We go out and we smile at somebody. So somebody smile back at you. Y'all have a good night. I appreciate y'all. Peace, fam. I'm out.